Groom tells his bride to turn around, and she starts crying when she spots these uninvited guests. It's important you know everything about the person you love, their hobbies, their favorite music, their favorite food, and so on. It shows you care about them and you pay attention to these details, which is why Ollie's next surprise was so heartwarming. Liz is a music and dance teacher from England. Remember this is important. Her wedding was all planned in early 2017, and she was now getting ready for the best day of her life. What she didn't know was that there was something she'd never imagined about the service at the church. The beautiful bride was ready to be walked to the altar. She knew everything will be on point and couldn't help but smile all day during the preparations. Liz put a lot of effort to design the perfect wedding ceremony. Everything was perfect, the church was stunning, the location was magical, the decorations beautiful. She thought she'd accounted for everything, but no one could have prepared her for what she was about to witness. As every bride that has spent an enormous amount of time planning her wedding, Liz thought she had control of everything. But the groom found a way to get around this in order for his secret plan to be successful. We don't have to wonder why Liz's face lit up as she saw the surprise in the church as she was standing in front of the altar with Ollie. Here's how it all began. Everything turns out perfect. Guests are all seated, the ring bearer and his pair are getting close, and nothing can go wrong. Liz had it all covered, all thanks to her family and friends that helped her for this amazing day. What she didn't know was she'd have the surprise of her life in just a few more minutes. As Liz walked down the aisle, she saw everyone she was expecting to see. Her best friends, her family, even her high school teacher. She never in her wildest dream imagined seeing these people in her wedding. As the bride and groom stand in front of the altar, we see two more photographers appear on the sides of the aisle, but they don't point their cameras at the couple that is getting married. Instead, they point the cameras to the guests. The guests think this is a bit strange since the two photographers won't change their focus to the bride and groom. They start stirring and turning around to see what they're filming. Meanwhile, the bride and groom are facing the altar, and Liz has no idea what was about to begin. The groom also takes a glance behind him, and it's all clear he's behind what's about to begin. The bride has no idea about it. He turns back to Liz so that she won't become suspicious. However, their family and friends are looking back towards the balcony behind them. As you can see from their faces, the other guests had no idea about the groom's big plan. They were surely shocked, but not as shocked as Liz was about to be. It was time for the big moment. In retrospect, the groom took a big risk. He invited these people without asking the bride, and if she didn't like the surprise, the wedding would end up being a disaster. But he was sure this would not happen. At one moment, almost nobody is looking at the couple during the ceremony. Something amazing is about to happen, and Liz has no idea about it. Ollie has made sure this will be a day his wife will always remember. The video shows the couple standing with their backs at the wedding guests, and then Ollie softly touches Liz's arm to show her something behind her. As she looks back and looks toward the balcony where Ollie points, she sees the big surprise and gasps. At that second, out of nowhere, around 30 people sitting on the balcony begin singing a beautiful song that makes Liz break down in tears. They were singing Christina Perri's 1,000 Years. But this is not the only reason why the bride starts crying tears of happiness. Liz sees these people every day, but she never imagined to see them at her wedding. It just didn't make sense. At the sight of them, she bursts into tears and tries her best to take everything in. Ollie is right by her side, and he takes her in his arms, kissing her on the forehead. These people were Liz's students from her class. As the children sing the lyrics, "Darling, don't be afraid. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I'll love you for 1,000 more." The people in the church are in tears. Liz wipes her tears, and everyone is emotional for a good reason. You see, these were not just random kids. The kids singing on the balcony are actually Liz's students. Ollie and one of Liz's colleagues at the JK's dance company made sure this would be a one-of-a-kind surprise for Liz. When she saw them there singing, she couldn't believe her eyes. Liz is so happy her children are there on her big day, she starts waving at them. Ollie is happy his plan of surprising his wife came together perfectly. It surely was a day she'll never forget. As the children finish their song, they happily wave at their beloved teacher. Liz is still moved by the whole performance and waves back at them. Meanwhile, the wedding guests wipe their tears and turn back to the happy couple. Considering Liz is a dance and music teacher, the wedding guests are in for a few more surprises that night. But this ceremony was the highlight of that day, which is why when it was posted online, it went viral. The newlyweds became famous when people saw this video first on Vimeo, where it was viewed more than 1.9 million times, and on YouTube, where it gathered more than 6 million views. The bride and groom left the church and headed towards the car to get to the reception, where they had the time of their lives among family and friends. At the reception, Liz and the wedding guests danced and joined in on choreographed dance routines, which made for a hilarious night. One thing is true, Liz will never forget the special surprise Ollie had planned for his beautiful bride.